Yeah, man, it was fun. So we got EURNZD Deep. We about to break this shit down, and what I want to do is I want to show you because my setup just happened, so I want to show you exactly everything that I do to jump into the market, right? So first things first, I'm gonna jump on a monthly right here, right? And you kind of find your areas of like, you know, your zones, your areas where the market is most likely going to turn. You know what I mean? So like you got one right here. You know, this is a major zone right here, right? You got another major zone right here, right? These are just major zones in the market where, like, you know, once price get there, like it's like look out. You know what I mean? So these are the major areas on a monthly chart, right? So like, you know, a lot of people call them, like these lines right here, people call them support and resistance, but like I hate telling people support and resistance. I like to tell people it's not a support and resistance, it's a zone. What happens is when you tell new people this is a support and resistance, they think that price is about to come do this right here. Price is about to come do this and then boom. Or price is gonna do this and then boom. Or they think that price is gonna come break, test, and then boom. Like it doesn't necessarily happen like that every single time. You know what I mean? It's a zone, right? So price might come all the way over here. But a new trader is gonna think that, oh, okay, cool, now we're long. So I'm gonna wait for the price to pull back and I'm gonna go long. Not necessarily, because you're in a zone. So you have to wait for other confluences. You gotta wait for other things in the market to let you know whether or not the trend is about to change. You feel me? So that's why I call them zones, and that's why like I got dotted lines to let myself know mentally that these shits are meant to be broken. This is just an area in the market that I've highlighted, but this is meant to be broken. You know, the market could do this right here. The market could do boom. You know what I mean? Like anything can happen, right? It doesn't necessarily have to come straight to this line right here. So that's first things first, right? So let's break it down. So like what I want to do is I want to identify some type of a trend. I love trend lines. I think that they're absolutely amazing, right? So if you take a look right here, just off the muscle, you'll see that every time that price comes to this strong zone right here at that 1.7886 area, we get a nice little turnaround. So the market came boom right here. We had a nice little turnaround, but the market kind of played a little bit around this area first and then came down. Now look at this right here. The market came back up, boom, played around this area again, and then took off to the zone. And then what did price do? You're good. What did price do? Price shot back down right here in this area, right? Came back up, shot back down, playing around again in this area before we get that drop. So I said, okay, you know what? Let me draw myself a little trend line, right? And just to peep game, I peep this little head and shoulder pattern right here, right? And when we get down on a weekly, you're gonna see it a little bit better. But okay, cool. So I have this little trend line right here. I want to make sure I hit everything, right? So look at this. Boom. So this could possibly be a retest of my trend line. Market came back, tapped this trend line for the beginning of the month before shorting. Because if you look, market broke below my zone right here, came back and retested it a couple of months ago, and then last month we finally had a nice little bearish engulfing that engulfed this one and this one, right? So that gives me confluence right there that we probably should be headed towards the downside. But we keep it pushing, right? And if you take a look right here, this huge push right here, that's why it's so good to have your trend lines. This huge push right here to the upside has ended. You know, that huge push ended. You know, the market gave its first impulse leg. So the first sign that a trend is about to change is an impulse leg, right? You get an impulse leg, and then you get a pullback, and then usually you get a lower low. So we haven't really had that lower low on a monthly time frame, but if you look on a weekly time frame, we've had that lower low right there, right? So that's just, you know, one part of the confluence process, right? So now let's break it down to the weekly, and let me delete these zones. So, well, I'm gonna keep them there, just so we see what's going on. So now if you come up over here on the come up on a weekly chart, you see it a little bit better now. You got a head and shoulder pattern, right? Right shoulder is lower than the left shoulder. Perfect, textbook, right? Head, shoulder, shoulder. Perfect, perfect. We got our little neckline right here, right? So if you look, when the market gave that first impulse leg, See, this is our zone right here, right? Let me bring this back just a little bit closer right here, just so we'll take a look at it. All right, so this is our zone right here. Strong zone right here in the market, right? So what did the market do? Once that uptrend was done, the market actually came down right here, pulled back, and then came down, pulled back, just minor pullback, so we can count it as this one right here, and then the market gave us a big pullback. But if you take a look right here, let me go back. I just want to show you right here. When the market was making higher highs, the market came up, came down, came up, came down, came up, nice little pullback, and then came up. So they're structured in this small little area right here. And if you go on a daily, you'll probably see it a little bit better, right? Because the lower you go down on the time frame, you'll see the structure, right? But if you look at it right here, boom. So the market had created that, you know, higher low and then higher high. This is the first impulse leg to let me know that this shit is changing. Boom. Market came down, broke below that area, pulled back to it, and took off. So that lets me know right there, it's over. Whatever uptrend was going on, it has ceased now. It's time for the market to take a new direction. So that's just my little context clues, right? That's why it's so important to look at the flow of the chart. I look at the flow of the chart, I look at how the chart moves, and I look at how price moves. Not just one candle, but just a wave of movement. And it really, really helps you out. So now I know that I have a beautiful head and shoulder pattern right here. Market broke below my zone, came back to structure, right? Came back to structure to create the second shoulder. And then if you look at it right here, look at this. Strong structural area right here, right? So you have, this, and a structure area is an area of indecision, right? So every time the market shoots up right here, doesn't like it. Shoots up right here, doesn't like it. Shoots up right here, doesn't like it. And usually what I've noticed, for the market to break like a zone, it usually has to be like a big, strong, bullish candle. It's never like a small candle. Look at this big one right here. It's never a small candle. Look at these big candles right here, right? It's never like, you'll never see like this small candle. Like you'll never see this candle. You'll never see this candle breaking the resistance area. Let me, where my arrow's at. You'll never see a candle like this. You'll never see a candle like this. Like you'll never see like these small candles. Like these small candles right here, they can't break a structural area. It usually has to be a huge candle. I mean, like it has to be like a huge engulfing candle to let you know that, okay, you know what? Either the sellers or the buyers are in control. This is a perfect example right here. Boom. Like I'm here. You know what I mean? Like I'm here. And I'm here to stay. Like boom. All right, cool. So now you know, okay, you know what? Market is about to switch off. All right. So now we're on a weekly chart, right? Let me just set up a small little trend line right here because I love trend lines. I think that trend lines are amazing. Now look at this right here, right? We were getting one story on the monthly. If you look at it on the monthly, it's coming up to tap the trend line on the monthly. But if you look at it on a weekly, it has started this nice little down. And this nice little downtrend started, right? And then look at what price did. Price broke that downtrend last week. So it seems, right? But flow of price. You can't just look at one candle. You got to look at the flow of price, right? Okay, so the market broke this candle. This is what we're looking at right here. I have my zone right here. This is a strong zone. Now, if price breaks above this zone right here, it's go time. First take profit right here, right? And then when the market goes above, right here, catch another pullback, and then second take profit right there, right into our zone. So we already know that off the bat, if the market breaks this zone right here. But this is a very strong zone. Market tried to break the zone right here in December, went above, came right back down like it, right? Tried to break it again right here in February, Didn't like it, right? And now we're looking at the market going this. Now peep this, right? Like I said, the flow of chart, right? Just keep looking at it. And the more you look at it, the more clues you'll get. You got a W pattern that's just formed. Boom. Double bottom, right? And this is usually a natural W. A natural W is like this, right? It's like the market comes. The market creates a double bottom, right? I'm trying to draw it up. Boom. Boom. And then the market take off, right? This is usually how it goes. That last leg is just takes off, right? This one is an inverse. So this is an inverse, right? So you already had that stupid drop. Market comes up, market comes down, market comes up to finish the W pattern. And then what happens after a W? You look for the market to short. Almost, and it's like no matter where you look in the market, you can always expect for the market to do that. Anytime you see a W pattern, the market will short. It's like inevitable, you know what I mean? Every time you see a W pattern, the market is short. So you had the price come down right here, come up, come down, and now price is right back at this area again, which is telling me, okay, cool. You got this big old bullish engulfing right here. You need a lot of confluence before you take this bad boy short, because one, your weekly trend line has been broken, right? So you want to create yourself a lot of confluence before you take short. And then also, like, it's always good to see which way the market is headed on a monthly, the weekly, and the daily. Usually when the monthly and weekly line up, usually it's, and the daily lines up, like those are some of your best trade setups. But if you go on your chart and the monthly is long, the weekly is short, the daily is ranging, like, I'll stay away. Like, I want all my time frames to be in confluence. Like that's another set of confluence for me. Okay, I see a downward trend on my weekly, I see a downward trend on my monthly, and then I go down to my daily and I see a downward trend too. Okay, you know what? It might be go time for me. This may be an opportunity for me to take advantage of, right? So let me delete all this right here. And I'm gonna keep a mental note of this weekly trend line right here, but I don't want it on any other time frame. So let's go down to the daily. So look in the daily right here. You see that? You had a nice little bearish set off right there. Remember that's that right shoulder. But remember, I told you if you went down to the daily, you'll see that structure area a lot better. Look at it. Crazy, stupid structure area, right? Really, really nice. So market started trending down right here. Remember, me and T, we were killing EURNZD. Terrell way more than me, but we caught a couple of good trade setups off of this support and resistance zone right here, off of this trend line right here. And then we were ready to catch it again last week, but the market actually broke above the trend line. And then I actually missed this setup right here. This is a nice 65.43 to 67. That's, 150 pips that I missed right there, but it's all good. Can't catch them all. Excuse me. So now the market is back in this trend right there. And you got an inverse head and shoulder pattern. You got an inverse head and shoulder pattern on a daily. This is why so many traders get messed up, right? Because you see how we've went from we got a head and shoulder pattern on a monthly, on a weekly for the short. Now on a daily, we have an inverse head and shoulder pattern. That's why it's so good to do your analysis top down. When you do your analysis top down, you don't miss anything. So we got an inverse head and shoulder pattern, and we usually know if the market breaks the neckline, which it did, usually the distance that it travels is this right here. So you can expect the market to go all the way back up here, 68.38, if the market breaks this support and resistance area, this zone. It's all contingent upon that, right? Me personally, I'm biased short. I feel like the downward momentum on a monthly, right here, right? I don't get paid to be right, I get paid to make pips, right? The only way I get paid is if I get pips. If I'm right and the market doesn't go the way that it's supposed to go and I'm right, it don't matter, right? So I'm very flexible with my analysis, and I'm very strong and rigid with my rules, right? So okay, I know that price pulled up to this trend line. So the price, this was the beginning right here. Price came down, pulled up, gave us a nice low wick, right? I feel like the price is giving us this nice low wick right here on the monthly again, before shorting back to this zone right here at 61.67. But we're not 100% sure about that as of yet. We're still working our way down, right? Oh, I guess I can keep this head and shoulder right here too. Boom. So the traders ask, well, how do I know when to enter the market? When do I know when to enter the market? What should I do? I'm supposed to know exactly when to get into the market. You're not. You're supposed to let the price come to you. You let the price come to you. So let's bust it down to the daily, to the 4 hour. So this is where I'm at with it. I'm on the H4 now. So this is what I'm looking at. See, I had a price alert set right here earlier, because I thought that with this candle right here, I thought that we were gonna get with this candle right here, I thought that the market was gonna come give us a nice little bearish engulfing, and then we were gonna get to short. But we didn't get that. Price didn't give us that. So actually, I could actually remove this this price alert. So this is what I'm doing. This is all I'm doing. This is me breaking it down all the way to the 4 hour, right? So now I have my zone. I have that monthly zone that I had drawn up. So I got the price in my monthly zone. This is my kill zone right here. This is my area of like, this is where I'm like, I wreck mayhem. Like, if things go my way, like I'm killing the market, you know what I mean? So this is what I'm looking at right here. Okay, so I got price around my monthly zone. Beautiful. Every time the market has come up to my monthly zone lately, it's been coming down. But we'll see, right? I'm on the H4. It looked like I'm gonna get a railroad pattern right here, right? So what I was actually waiting for before you came, so I was telling you, like, I missed a setup. Like, price had came up to the zone, shot down, created a pin bar, and then price came back up. See, that second retest right there is when you get into the market. And if I would have got in at 67.13, I would have only been risking like 15 pips. You know what I mean? So I'm just seeing. So now I'm just being patient to see. That's how you get that. Exactly, right? So like usually, like the market is a crackhead. Everything that it does is gonna do it again. So the market came up, and then it took away from it. It got to come back and retest it again just to make sure. You can almost count on it. Anytime price comes to an area, it's always gonna retest it a couple of times before it goes, right? Look, price came here, price came down, price came up, price came down before it finally took off, and then created that higher low, and then took off. Like, you can almost count on it. Price is always going to do that, and you catch those on the lower time frames, on the H4, on the H1. You know what I mean? You catch them on a lower time frame. You can see it a lot better on the H1 than you can on the H4. But on the H1, you can see it right here. Price came up, got rejected, came back again, and we're looking for a sell-off. So, me personally, if I get at the close of this H4 candle right here, if I get a railroad pattern, I'm going to set a market execution in this area right here, and I'm going to have my stop loss 10 pips above this this supported resistance right here, right? 67.14, 67.24, wherever the market is. So I'm going to be risking about 30 pips. As you know, usually risk about 30 to 50 pips, right? On the H1 right here, this is for everybody who wants to take a safe setup, right? You want to take a safe trade setup? Let me tell you what to do. For all the super safe people right here, this is that, you know what I mean, that bullish trend line that's on a 4 hour. I just replicated it on the H1. So you know, for my safe guys out there, you know what I mean. You want to get like a, you know, I'm confident with my trade, so I'm gonna set the trade because I feel like I know where the market is going. It's not 100%, but based on my skill set and my knowledge, I know where the market is gonna go. For the new traders out there, take your time. Wait for the market to keep playing around, right? And eventually it's gonna break this trend line right here. When the market breaks this trend line, we get a nice little pullback to it, right? And then we're gonna get a nice little risk to reward still, right? Because if the market pulls back, you at right here 66.84, and risk to reward is still ginormous, man. It's still a really good setup, right? So if you enter the market there, short position, enter the market here at the break of that trend line, and let's say we want to risk 50 pips. Boom. You're risking 50 pips, so you're still about 67.13, 67.35. You're more than 10 pips above the support resistance, which is perfect, right? And we're just gonna ride the price back up right here, back to this area right here. You see, I got this big black solid line right here. That's a mental note for myself. When price gets here, start taking profit, because the likelihood of price changing or going back the other direction is very high, right? So start taking profit right here. And then let me go back up to the daily. And then if price breaks this area right here, you can expect price to come all the way. So far right here, risk to reward, this is a risk to reward. This is a 6.63 ratio, right? So it's a 7-to-1. So you're risking 50 pips to get 333 pips. These are the types of trades that make up for all the other losses you've had. You know what I mean? And then if the market does decide to come all the way down here, it's even better. That's a 10-to-1 right there. That's the setup you want. That's 523 pips right there, risking 50 pips. That's a beautiful setup if the market does what we want it to do. So that's how we jump into the market. That's how you break that shit down. I know this is a long ass video, but you know, I hope that this helps out anybody that watches it to see my process on how I break the market down from the monthly all the way down to the 4-hour, to the H1, to see where my entry is gonna be. So to recap, we know, you know, based on the analysis, we know exactly what we're looking for the market to do. We're either looking for for the market to break our trend line, for us to get a retest and short, or we're wanting our market to break above our zone, catch a pullback, and go long, right? And either ways, for the short or the long position, it's still a great risk to reward, right? So if the market decides to go long, which I highly doubt, but if the market decides to go long, right? So let's sit right there. We won't even need to risk that many pips this go around. Well, I don't even think we'll need to risk 50 pips. I think you'll be able to risk 40 pips on a short opportunity, but let's just put 50 pips here, right? And then let's go on the daily. Where's my area right there? So either ways, you're getting 300 plus pips. You know what I mean? Either ways, we're getting 300 plus pips, easy. Because the next area of indecision is right here. That's the next major structural area right there, right? About 1.7086. So either way, this is going to be a stupid opportunity, a stupid trade. Overall, so let's just recap real quick so that way, guys, you'll understand what we've done and what we're doing, right? Overall downtrend that I'm looking at on a monthly right here may be coming to an end if we get a break above this zone right here at 1.6731. I don't foresee it happening, but if it does happen, hey, it's perfect, right? We marked off our monthly zones in the market just to see where are these areas of indecision, where the market is going to pull back to. I think that personally, this is just a nice little pullback, exhaustion, whatever you call it. It's just a nice little pullback into our trend line before we get a nice short for the remainder of the month. But you know, we had a nice little weekly break right here, but this is Like this is why I believe that the market is gonna short personally, because of this inverse W right here. Market came up, came down, so it's creating the W now. So I feel like price is gonna short, you know, but we'll see. We'll see. We let price come to us. We don't need to go to price, right? Whatever happens, happens. All right, guys, that's all we have. This is our breakdown on EURNZD. We're gonna set up this trade, and I'm actually gonna take a video when I set this trade, so that way we for the short. And also when I set my entry, I'm gonna put a video in there, and then we'll come back to it and see how price does. I think that we're gonna get some pretty good pips throughout the course of the month. That's all I have, guys. Happy trading for the remainder of the week. Let's get some massive pips.